He gonna swing on me. I ain't did nothing to that man, bro.
Inspired last night surprised even the most seasoned partygoers. On one of those nights, the city's most famous nightclub looked like it was on fire. The lights were flashing, the music was loud, and the place was packed with influencers, celebrities, and everyone else in between. Things were going to grow heated because there were 3 well-known individuals with unresolved business, even if the majority of people had come to dance and unwind.
I just had to cool off, right? Just get my mind right, man, you know. But I really gotta get this off my chest, man. And all that.
Kirk Frost and young Jock were dressed to impress, not their usual chatty, raucous selves, despite the crowded VIP section. Something wasn't quite right, even though they were seated like kings over their court in their corner booth. Both were carrying drinks, but they were continually looking at the crowd rather than actually drinking. As the Jock leaned in to talk to Kirk, who barely nodded but kept his gaze fixed in the middle of the dance floor, the average clubgoer thought they looked trendy and composed, but their body language gave the opposite impression. Even though people were arriving from all areas, Kirk and Jock didn't waste any time waiting for anyone because they could see the area from their VIP booth. Then there was young Scrappy, who was unaware that catastrophe was imminent. He walked in with a broad smile, an air of ownership, and a confident, familiar stride. He was encircled as soon as he stepped into the room by embracing his pals, greeting fans, and posing for pictures with revelers while clearly having a great time and laughing aloud. The atmosphere shifts as people start flocking to Scrappy, as is often the case when he shows up. A few perceptive bystanders observed something else in that dark VIP booth across the floor, but the majority were there just for fun. Jock and Kirk were trapped up in their stairwell, still studying each other intently. Scrappy was going to land squarely in each spotlight's shadow. The DJ even slowed down his beat a little bit halfway through a changeover, as if he was trying to sense where the energy was going. Kirk leaned in once again as the quiet grew even more subdued back at the VIP booth. No matter how hard Scrappy tried to hide it, it was obvious that she was concerned. In the middle of twerking, one of the bartenders stopped to glance toward Scrappy's booth. Jock turned to the club after checking his phone, nodding and lowering his voice. He gestured with his chin to Scrappy's spot, but their light-hearted bond was gone. When a waitress brought another round of drinks, Kirk narrowed his eyes without smiling or taking a sip, but she stopped as she reached their booth due to the looks on their faces. Sensing the strain, she set the bottle down carefully, remained silent, and then came back. Even though there were no camera phones yet, the actual people in the room were aware that something was going on. Kirk and Jock seemed to be waiting a minute, while a few others sat beside his booth. However, one of Scrappy's friends bent over and said something while she was still giggling. For the briefest moment, Scrappy cast a glance across at Kirk and Jock's booth. They weren't just watching, they were waiting.
Let me go. Look at me. Look at me. Let me go. Look at me. Look at me.
Man, I am frustrated, irritated, man.
The silence was abruptly broken as Kirk and young Jock finally left their VIP section and started navigating the mob. As soon as they did, the atmosphere around them altered, and you could see people moving away. Their actions caught everyone's attention, even if they weren't yet shouting. When Scrappy noticed the movement approaching him directly, he was still in the center of the dance floor, taking in the spirit of his people. He turned and nodded as if he was trying when Kirk and Jock showed up there to keep a cool "what's up." When Scrappy extended his hand to pose his query, Jock did not smile. His voice was inquisitive and a little uneasy, but not yet. Kirk stood so close and wouldn't return the gesture, so they stopped even thinking about personal space. The music got too loud for the tension in the air, yet the tone suddenly altered. And what had started out as words quickly transformed into something far more powerful. Jock was the first to lean in, and we could obviously hear his voice, despite the fact that it was still low. "Scrap," he said, meeting his eyes. you've been talking too much." A perplexed Scrappy said. "You know exactly what playing both sides is, smiling in our faces and then running your mouth behind the scenes." The actual weight fell at that point. Kirk thought that because we had the receipts, he wouldn't come back, so he pulled out his phone and showed it to us as evidence. "When Jock returned to the studio last week, you were behaving strangely. Given that they emailed us everything, do you think that people are loyal to you?" Scrappy briefly glanced at the phone before turning back to Kirk, retorting, "That wasn't even the entire conversation. You people are misinterpreting the situation. Although I didn't say it, I did say what you wanted to say." Kirk did not recoil when he raised his voice a little, responding, "Context or not, you said it, period." With the so-called proof now in hand, the scene was getting more intense. Normally calm manner was rattled and his face heated up. He stated, "Y'all are acting like I'm some snake, but I have been real with both of you. You guys more times than I can remember. A Scrappy snap, half of you are lying, but you still believe that I'm afraid of receipts." Everyone who hadn't previously noticed was now staring at their phones since the volume had changed. Security at the edge of the dance floor started to move in just enough to be ready when the DJ turned down the sound a bit. "Without me there, you want to demonstrate to the others what you said and how you deftly discussed me." It was true. Kirk began to approach the jock and said, "Let him talk. Let him get it all out. I held you all back because Scrappy wasn't calming down, but you're all ready to blow it all up on a few out-of-context statements." Though not too close, the crowd was drawing near. Everyone in the club could see that the goal was to test one's pride, respect, and trust. It was just a matter of seconds till the final spark ignited everything. Interview.
I have nobody if y'all ain't with me. I don't have nobody.
I'm with you. Like,
All that talking, cuz I need y'all to show me, cuz, for real.
At the height of the tantrum, neither Jock nor Scrappy was giving in, while Scrappy filled the narrow space between them until they were chest to chest. The jock stayed still. When Kirk saw it coming, he leaned in to warn Scrappy again. But Scrappy had already gone too far. Jock responded, "It already is real," and Kirk remarked, "You might want to fall back before it gets real." He then moved forward just enough to receive a response a moment later. Scrappy pushed the jock in the chest, causing him to stagger back and clash with a man nearby. The music stopped as a drink flew from a table glass. Chaos erupted before they could even cut. They all gathered around Kirk as he rushed forward. Scrappy pushed harder even when one of his sons leaped in to pull him back while trying to step in. A second member of Scrappy's crew fell and hit another VIP guest. Chairs were being hurled and drinks were being poured, and the audience, which had been watching in silence, was suddenly engaged in a real fight. A frenzy of shouting, pushing, and flashing lights erupted on the dance floor. And a number of people started filming with their phones up in the air. The nightclub wasn't merely observing. They were present when the altercation began. Time was critical for security. In a matter of seconds, bouncers in all black flooded in. Before any blows could be exchanged, one ran between Scrappy and Jock, and another grabbed Kirk by the behind and dragged him out of the circle. "Don't touch him like that," yelled one of Scrappy's men as he shoved a security guard away, but his gang didn't slow him. The bouncers doubled down and forcibly separated the group while a woman next to her yelled and a drink was thrown on her clothes. The booth where Scrappy had been hosting a party now looked as if it had been hit by a storm, and the tables had been rearranged. As things started to calm down, club staff moved in behind security to assist in pushing back the crowd, picking up broken glasses, and attempting to keep more customers from becoming trapped in the middle. Kirk and Jock were escorted out through a side entrance, which was manned by 3 security guards. After the DJ noticed that the music had stopped due to the change, and that the only sound left was shouting from the front of the club. Just stiff fists and angry eyes, no words. One of the men whispered, "Let it go, not here." and he grabbed Scrappy's arm as he dragged his group across the bar. Clubgoers outside instantly tweeted videos of the violence, with voiceovers, "Yo, that's Scrappy," and jock fighting. One user commented, "Never seen drama pop off like this at a club before." People weren't just reacting, they were picking sides. Following the viral success of a 15-second video that garnered thousands of views in a couple of minutes, the altercation may have lasted a few seconds, and everyone was out there. Some accused Scrappy of exacerbating the situation, while others said Kirk and Jock were acting inappropriately. The ramifications will be much more extensive, though, because Scrappy has planned club affiliations, public appearances, and collaborations with anything this public. And because Kirk and Jock have business links all over Atlanta. There are real consequences such as lost endorsements, strained relationships, and occasionally even legal concerns if someone makes accusations. It's not just about bruised egos. What do you think about the issue as a whole? For further updates, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and leave a comment in the box below.